Who's going to be first today? The first person to chime in today wins a brand new 1997 Corvette keychain. Alfred, you just won yourself a 1997 Corvette keychain. I'm trying to learn how to talk with my mouth closed. You just won yourself a new Corvette keychain. What's poppin', Alfred, my friend? How are you, Playboy? It's hot. It's 145 degrees out. Today I got something special, Alfred. Today I got, see how I usually go like this? Today I got something special, something great. But it looks like it just might be a sausage fest with me and Alfred today. I don't see nobody else coming in. Everybody abandoned me except Alfred and Rob. Hi, Rob. Ooh. You know, you spend a lot on a chain. You want people to see the chain, but you can't. Wear it like this. You gotta kind of strategically open it up so that they kind of, oh shit, he got a nice chain on. What's poppin', everybody? Hi, Miss Reilly. How are you? Hi, Seashell Fell Seashore by the seashore. I got something special today. I would hope that some of you guys would go over and join TikTok so you could watch some of the cool shit I'm doing on TikTok. But today I got something pretty cool. Now I'm going to do the news and views you can use if you choose. If you choose not to use the news and views, as soon as you lose, Alfred lose. Here's the thumbnail. But you guys have seen the news a million times. I was thinking maybe today we could do something different. Arrests, police reports, search warrants. From Robert Patrick Bowen. I've talked about this on my show for a couple years. I think everybody thought I was bullshit. Not bragging. I used to be a criminal. I stopped being a criminal like 5 days ago. So, now what do you want to read about? The time I broke into a pawn shop and stole 55 guns, including gold and silver. The other time our place got raided and they found a whole treasure trove of LSD in the refrigerator. Or my favorite. By the way, I got about 20 of these things. I only found 3, but this one's from 1987. I was going to do this on my TikTok today called Story Time. 1987, let's call it 1990. 2010, 20, 30, 37, 38 years ago. So I'm gonna give you the gist of this one. It might be a little long. So I was a fairly famous rapper from Northern California. Every club in the area I had performed at. 1987 wasn't a whole lot of people doing anything. You might have had an MC Hammer, but you didn't have anybody out there doing anything. Anyways, so I was supposed to perform one night at a nightclub, and then me and my friend Johnny, probably high, we were definitely drinking, decided we want to go to Carl's Jr.'s, which is like Hardee's. You might have a Hardee's. Just picture it as a Jack in the Box or a McDonald's. Carl's Jr. is my favorite fast food spot. And we said, let's leave. It's like 10 o'clock. I'm not going on till 1. Let's leave, go eat some burgers, smoke some joints, and check out some ladies. And I think I had hair down to my ass back then. And a six-pack, almost like now. We get to the place, we go inside, we order our food, we're waiting for our food, and there's like 30 African-American guys in. Back then we called them black. I'm going to say that because it's in my police report. Black guys. There's about, I don't know, 20, 30 African-American guys in there. One of them took umbrage to my friend for whatever reason and pushed my friend. I've talked about this on the show before. So I went up. First some girl that was with them said to me, do you perform? Did you perform at the college? I said, I did. Oh, wow. My name was Doc of Rock back then. The D-O-C-O-R-O-C-K. So anyway, long story short, the guy somehow had a beef with it, but he didn't want it with me. I was a gangster. He wanted it with my little homie, Johnny. So he ended up violently shoving Johnny. And I stood up, according to this police report. Most of the memory is blank, but the police report covered it pretty good. I stood up and said, "You want some? Bring it!" And started swinging. And I probably beat up about 8 of them. And then right when you can only beat up 8 for so long. This ain't, the Incredible Hulk. This is just some skinny ass white boy who could swing. My granddaddy always said, "Son, if you get jumped, start swinging first, because if you swing last, they're all gonna beat your ass. If you swing first, a few might bounce. They might leave." Anyways, I think before I do the news today, I'm gonna do story time. Maybe you'll like it, maybe you'll hate it. But I plan on doing it on my TikTok, and maybe I'll do a dry run on here. I was 25, 26, 27. Now I'm 95. I can't fight people anymore. All right, so I'm going to read you guys this. Hi, Treaton. Don't think less of me after you read this. After you hear this. The Municipal Court of Northern Solano County Judicial Trial against Robert Bowen, blah, blah, blah. The offending date was January 9th, 1987. The following summary is information taken from Fairfield Police Report number blah blah blah, dated January 9th, 1987. On the above date, the reporting police officer was in the parking lot of Carl's Jr.'s when he noticed a large crowd gathering around in the eating area. After requesting cover from several officers, he went inside the building where he saw the defendant and another man facing off against each other. Okay, I had already beaten up like 8 of them. The cop wasn't there when it started. I was finishing it. Right then, this female, African-American female, poked me in my eye. She went boink, like the Three Stooges, doink, right in my eye. That could have ended the fight. The defendant's fists were clenched tightly as he yelled, "You want it? Come on, punk, I'll kill you." The officer was then assisted by a witness. That's a snitch. A witness jumped me along with the cop, and together they took hold of the subject's arms to arrest him for a 415.1 PC. I'm assuming that's assault, because I was whooping some asses. The defendant struggled to break free from the officer's grip, and a stun gun was used on the defendant on the lower left side of his back several times, after which he stopped resisting. I think he probably, I didn't feel it the first 2 or 3 times. I think because I was, cop wanted it, he could have got it too. During the struggle with the defendant, the other man apparently left the area because he got his ass whooped, he was bleeding, and he ran his bitch ass out the back door. The defendant was arrested for a 415 PC. He was driven home. I wasn't taken to jail, I was driven home and released on a promise to appear. The defendant told the officer that the other man had started the fight by taking a swing at his friend for no apparent reason. The defendant admitted he did strike the other man and several others, at least once. The case was referred to the district attorney's office for a formal complaint. The defendant submitted a handwriting statement. Wait till you see the statement. I actually had nice penmanship back then. A copy is attached. The defendant was born in Waco, Texas. This is the part I don't get. I'm assuming this is for probation. A probation officer, she was probably, because I was extremely cute, I still am. Picture me 30 years ago. And you get arrested, you have to talk to some officer about your life. And then she decides whether they're going to put you in jail or whatever. I was looking at 2 years in prison because one of the guys got hurt pretty badly. He effed around and he found out. So I assume, I don't remember any of this. I found this today in my closet. I assume that I was running some game on a probation officer, a female. Because the guys never fall for my trick. The guys usually hate me because I'm so handsome. The women adore me. The defendant was born in Waco, Texas, and lived in the area for the 19 years. He's currently living with his parents in the same home. He's lived for the last 16 years, and he claims to have a good relationship with both his parents, while the defendant states his younger sister, who also lives in the blah, 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 he gets along with his sister. I don't know how any of that, I'm reading this, wondering what the hell they're talking about. Mr. Bowen attended local schools and graduated from, he would have graduated, this is all true, would have graduated from Fairfield High School in 1980 if it were not for a car accident that resulted in him falling behind and missing so much school. That's not true. I was actually crushed by a car the week of, sorry guys. All right. I was crushed by a car the week before graduation. I didn't get to take my finals, but I didn't miss a lot of school. I just missed that last week. However, he did receive a GED in 1981. That's true. I found that also in the closet. He said he had thought about going to Solano College to further his education. Now, you know I'm lying. I never thought of that. I was just running some game on that lady. The defendant's employee history includes several skilled, semi-skilled positions. Theater projectionist, very true. Janitor, yep. Carpet cleaner, and a 2-year job as assembly line worker. He also worked the last 8 months at Benicia Import Auto Service, where he drove the new Toyotas off the boats from Japan. Making $10 an hour. That was good-ass money back then. That's more than I make now. He claims to like what he's doing. In addition, the defendant states that he is a semi-famous entertainer who has played all the clubs in town, and his other jobs are only necessary in order for him to make money till he gets his big break. This is so cringy reading this all these 37 years later. I hope this lady doesn't know who I am. She's still thinking about it. That's fact. The defendant's future goals revolve around his desire to become a well-known entertainer. He personally feels he's a very talented individual who is having a difficult time getting promoted. He plans to tour the United States with his act, and hopefully this will lead to more exposure in the entertainment field. He is also sending cassette tapes and records to radio stations in the hopes that they decide to play his music on air, which they did a lot. Although these goals appear idealistic, that's her way of saying I'm full of shit, he does realize that he may not become a famous entertainer after all. Nevertheless, he wants to work towards his goal and appeals to emotionally stable in the event these goals are not fully realized, and the defendant is maintaining a full-time employment, blah, blah, blah. The fact that he is single with no children. 38 years later, they're still singing that same song. I'm still single with no children. The fact that he is single with no dependent children puts him in a good position should the opportunity present itself to tour the country with his act. The act was me. The defendant reports he first drank beer with friends while still in high school. You guys know I don't drink. I'm not a drinker. He considers himself to be a moderate drinker and will have beer, wine, and mixed drinks depending on the occasion. However, he does not drink on a regular basis. It's all true. He also started using marijuana his senior year of high school, and at one point was smoking a couple joints a week. Oh, if lying was a sin, I would have went to prison for that one. Oh, do you smoke weed, sir? Oh, I used to a couple times a week, but not now. I wouldn't think of this probation lady. I told her what she wanted to hear. He has experimented with cocaine, but said he did not like its effects. After 2 years, I didn't like it anymore. And he now reports that he has not used marijuana or any other drug since New Year's. Now remember, this was taken on January 9th, so I'm sure I was high. Yeah, that's a lie. I was drinking the night of the fist fight, January 9th. and he claims to be drug-free. According to the CII, I don't know what that is, the FBI, and the DMV, Mr. Bowen has a felony conviction for stealing a vehicle without the owner's consent in 1982. It's true. It was a motorcycle that I had sold to the kid. And several years later, I'm walking by and I see the motorcycle parked there at the high school. I took my old key, put it in and started. I fired that bitch up and drove it away. He also had a conviction for DUI in 1983. The officer that arrested me was later shot and murdered by a no-legged double amputee from Vietnam named Stanley Burkettis. The officer's name was Art Koch. He completed the program for DUI, and thus he hasn't had a beef with us for 4 years, basically. The defendant claims to be the victim, feels to be the victim in this incident. Earlier he had been at Fairfield Landing, which is a nightclub, with his friend, where he had a couple of beers. It says right here, I just told her I didn't drink since New Year's. This took place on January 9th, so I'm caught in the lie right here. Come on, lady. The defendant was going to play with the band later on that evening, and his friend and him decided to get something to eat first. They went to Carl Jr.'s and noted a group of blacks. That's her words. I didn't say that. A group of blacks. This was a very large group. They were already eating there while the defendant was waiting for his food, because when you order at Carl Jr.'s, they bring it to your table. So you sit at your table waiting. One of the males in the restaurant shoved his friend. Here's where I lie a little bit. Here's where I get a little tricky with the info. You already read the police report. You already read what the police officer said. I was swinging. He stood up to ask, hey, what's going on here, guys? Not wanting to get into a big fight as they were highly outnumbered. They weren't they, it was me. My friend was a little puss. He was sitting on the corner crying. I had to stand up and fight for both of us. We were highly outnumbered. And this is not my words, this is her words. After verbal altercation escalated, police came in and grabbed him and his friend. She doesn't mention the stun gun because I didn't mention the stun gun. I ain't gonna tell her shit she don't need to know. She didn't mention that I was mopping on 8 of them. He said he only got him upset because he did not feel he'd done anything warranted to be restrained. While arguing with the police, the man who was the defendant had been arguing in the first place. That man left the restaurant. The police officer took the defendant home, stating it was for his own good. It was. There was 30 of them in there. 30 of them. I already whooped 8 of them. I'm running out of gas. I can't whoop all 30. I might have been able to get 10 or 12, but 8 was my limit that night. He was scheduled to play at the nightclub later on that evening. The defendant went back to Carl Jr.'s and apologized to the entire staff for the earlier trouble. He said he's not the type to go looking for trouble, basically feels he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. He perceives himself as a friendly, likable person who gets along with most people. Motivation for the instant offense appears to be the situationally based. The defendant reacted emotionally to the threat of physical altercation against him or possibly his friend. The stress was further magnified by the police officer grabbing him instead of the other man. Blah, 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 due to the yelling and agitation. Now I want to get to me writing. I want to get to the part where that's 6. The officer took him home to remove him from the scene. The defendant does not feel it was fair. However, he can understand why the police felt it was. The cop came in. I already had 5 of them on the floor. I was still punching 2 and kicking the other. Then some lady was poking, little girl was poking her finger in my eye. And the cop, I didn't know it was a cop. This is some guy on my back. Oh shit, now there's another one I gotta beat up. And it's a cop. He starts tasing me. Once he tased me a couple times, I knew it was a cop. Although the defendant is amenable, I don't know what that word is, amenable for a grant of formal probation, it is not felt that he is in need of services at this blah blah blah. It is therefore respectfully recommended to forego prison time and recommend the imposition of a sentence of suspended and the defendant be granted 12 months conditional release. One guy was hurt pretty badly. He got the whooping. Usually you get 1 or 2 punches and then I'm on to the next guy. This one guy, he made the mistake of being in the same spot for too many of these. Anyway, that he's supposed to perform 25 hours of community service, and that he pay a fine. And here it is. Look at my handwriting. This is my handwriting. It all started when a friend of mine, Johnny Brown. Oh, this is your opportunity to give information directly to the court. This is what you got to do to get, instead of prison, this is what you got to do to get probation. It all started as a friend of mine, Johnny Brown, and I went to get some burgers at Carl's Jr.'s. While we were seated waiting for them to bring our food, we were confronted by a very large group of black males and a couple females. 2. At that point, one of the guys, for no reason, comes up and shoves my friend Johnny. Now, I'm not a genius, but I know better than to try to fight a whole gang of kids. I was lying. I fought them all. I wish I could have got that girl that was poking me in my damn eye, but by then the cop was already on my back. So I stood up to get the manager. I didn't stand up to beat everybody's ass. I stood up to get the manager. Ma'am, there seems to be an incident going on over here. Can I please have your attention? And that was, I was instantly surrounded. I put my hands in position to protect myself and looked at one of the kids and asked, what was this all about? He answered me in slang. So I really couldn't understand what he was saying. What's this all about? Blah, blah, blah. Huh? I don't understand what this young African-American kid had said. I couldn't understand what he said. There was no punches thrown at me, nor did I throw one at him. Now, you read the police report. Cop says I was swinging on everybody, including the cop. At this point, the police came in and started shocking at the crowd. Shocking is a stun gun. I was not shocked. I was shocked 3 or 4 times. I don't know why I told her I wasn't shocked. Maybe my lawyer said, just play it down as much as possible. It was nothing, a misunderstanding, ma'am. Because they didn't get any of the kids' names. Those kids were gone. The only one they got his name was the kid that ended up in the hospital. I was never so glad to see the police in my life. I love cops. My adrenaline was flowing and I was still very scared. I admit when the police grabbed me and my friend instead of the kids, I started trying to explain, but the police wouldn't listen, so I said it louder and louder. To this day, I just can't understand why I was handcuffed and taken home when these kids probably ended up eating all my food I had purchased. It was in the Bay Area. I really don't feel I need probation. I'm a very likable guy. I never get into fights. I was at the wrong place at the wrong time. There have been at least a dozen other kids, boys and girls, who have been beaten up by a large gang of African Americans at Carl's Jr.'s recently. I said African American, I said blacks. I don't know if African American was a thing in '87. Future plans, I'm trying to get a record contract in LA. I'm a very talented entertainer. I think that's all she wrote. I have read and considered the foregoing report of probation officer, and it was a lady. I don't know her damn name. I don't know her name, but I thank her. Anyways, that was, I hope that wasn't too boring. That was one of the tamer ones. This one here, I'm not going to read right now. I'll do it another time. Is for running a very large LSD ring, glyceric acid dehydrolamide, but not limited to containers of various commonly associated. They found it in the freezer. Also, they found a stolen motorcycle that I talked about earlier. And then this one is when the cops came to my house looking for all of these stolen handguns. that I may or may not have, I did, stole and sold to gang members throughout the Bay Area. I don't even know if I'll do the news today because I got some really cool shit I found in this book. You guys have seen the news a million times. Maybe we'll do the news anyway. Maybe we'll have a 2-hour extravaganza. Get the comments. Did you guys like story time with Boogie Bob? Because now, I've talked about this for so long. 1992, 1993, 1994. These were my daily journals of celebrities. You hear my celebrity stories all the time. This happened in Fairfield, California, Carrie. 707. Say it backwards. So this I found in my closet today too. I've been meaning. This says every time I met the celebrity. If I met Bill Murray, where did I meet him? When did I meet him? What day was it? So this is a weekly planner. I think you're going to enjoy this. So what I did was I would write. The very first one is met Paul Newman at Planet Hollywood. This was on April 29th, 1992. The Rodney King riot started in LA. And I made $60. Every day I would do an entry, what I worked, how much I made, and who I met. This shit is fascinating. On the 30th, April 30th, I met Montel Williams. And it's the first time I got to be friendly with Bruce Willis. Came in my bathroom, tipped me $2. I made $75. The next day, on May 1st, there was minor riots in New York City over Rodney King. Nothing major happened. I think this is going to get good. Guys, if you'd rather hear the news, just write news in the columns and I'll do the news. I don't mind. 5-2. Met Jennifer Capriati. I think she likes me. Talked for over an hour. Made $70. Also got unemployment for $380. So keep that on the DL. May 3rd. I made $85. And I met Doogie Howser. Didn't know his real name at the time. The next day, this was a busy week. May 4th. Met Matt Dillon and was actually an extra in his movie with him and Danny Glover. St. Port Washington, on the corner of 42nd and 7th. If you see that movie, I'm in it and I snuck into it. There was all these regulars and I said, fuck it, I'm going to sneak in. I'm going to be in a movie with Matt Dillon. I didn't know who Danny Glover was at the time. 5-5. May 5th. Worked the day shift, made $60. I met the stars from the movie Juice. Probably didn't even know who Tupac was yet. And met Donald Trump. Didn't tip me nothing. I babysitted Donald Trump's kids. Nothing. I probably at least 3 times, he's in this book at least 3 times, where he came in, never tipped me a nickel. The 6th, looks like I'm working every day here. I made $75. I met Freddie Jackson. Me and Freddie Jackson actually became good friends. I met him in the bathroom. I also met the cast of Weekend at Bernie's Part 2. And my favorite actor, Steve James. I love Steve James. Big, black, muscle-bound actor in lots of movies. I can't name one right now. Weekend at Bernie's. But also I met Bernie. The dead dude that played Bernie. I met Bernie. Also, I was invited to a special screening of My Cousin Vinny. Lots of special screenings in here. It's where I met all my celebrity friends. The next day, I dubbed up tapes for my music career. The next day, 5-8. I'm going to do the whole year. So if you got shit to do, go do it. I took the day off, printed cassette tapes, laid around, blah, blah, blah. The 10th, made $60. I met the Knicks players, John Starks, Anthony Mason. Also, it was the first time I met David Spade and I wrote several jokes for Saturday Night Live. not joke, skits. They used my bathroom attendant skit. David Spade wasn't in it. It was Kevin Nealon and I think Harvey Keitel. I've got 3 of my skits on Saturday Night Live over the years. Also the rock group Indica. I don't know who that is. Next day made $130. This is all cash because it's tips. Next day met supermodel Nikki Taylor, made 40 bucks. Nikki Taylor had a twin sister who died when she took asthma inhaler and didn't really have asthma. Met Bridget Bako from the Red Shoe Diary. Next day, met Danny Glover and Matt Dillon. I was on the movie. At the Port Authority, Lyle Alzado, the great Oakland Raider, died. Went for a bike ride, day off. Met soap stars. I don't know any of them. One employee of the month. I'm keeping the receipts. When I say I was this guy's friend or that guy's friend, you're going to see a lot of me going to people's houses. Met Danny Glover again. Saw a private screening. I was actually an invite because he liked me so much. He invited me to a private screening, not in the movie theater, at Planet Hollywood, in the theater at Planet Hollywood, for Lethal Weapon 3. There's nothing worse than going to a private screening. I've done them with Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis, and they're sitting beside you. Because then you got to extra laugh at all the jokes, or if something's action, you got to go, yeah. It's horrible. It's the worst. Danny Glover was very, very nice. I made Employee of the Month again. Let's see, went to Central Park, Kevin Kelly, Iran Barkley, Sugar Ray Leonard, met them all, blah, blah, blah. Went to Central Park Zoo, rode my bike, made $65. Zelma Davis from CNC Music Factory. I actually took her to lunch, and she was fine. Met Nipsey Russell, my neighbor, right here in Hell's Kitchen at the post office. Became friendly, went to his home. Sat at his home while he made a TV dinner and gave me lemonade. The great Nipsey Russell, God bless him. Very, very nice guy. Made it 135, made 110, made 65. Was hit on tonight at work by actress Sylvia Miles. Sylvia Miles, I think she has the world record for getting a Best Supporting Actress, and she was only in the movies for like 8 minutes. And if you saw Midnight Cowboy, she was the elderly woman who picked up John Voight, who was acting as a male prostitute with Dustin Hoffman in the movie. Sylvia Miles came in and actually sat at my table and rubbed my leg. Older woman, long dead by now. Made $140, Statue of Liberty. Met Andrew Dice Clay for the first time. June 7th. Day off, did nothing. Made $130. Met Richard Dreyfuss. He was so nice to me. He was wonderful. Most of these I forgot about. Hung out with Iron Maiden. Sat on stage with Iron Maiden. Kid and Play, that was the rap group. And I saw Class Act with Whoopi Goldberg. I don't know how that happened. Met soap stars from All My Children. I don't care. Rachel McClish, my friend Freddie Jackson came in, bought me dinner. Don Einer, that's a famous whatever. Here's where it starts. Zelma Davis, I told you I went to lunch with her. Rick Avila. Now, if you don't know who Rick Avila is, he became a very good friend of mine. He's all like this. God, if you want to talk about... He was in the movie Ghost. And he's the one that killed Patrick Swayze. If you go to the end of the movie, he's the Spanish guy trying to kill him and kill Whoopi Goldberg. Rick Avila. Larry Fishburne was a friend of mine. Larry, he was not Lawrence, he was Larry at the time. Larry Fishburne on 612 came in, hung out. Me and him became very friendly over the years. In fact, when he turned his name to Lawrence, I was with him when he got into a fist fight at a club, at a bar, when John Leguizamo kept calling him Larry. I said, it's Lawrence now, man. Okay, Larry. John Leguizamo could be a real prick. I like him very much, too. Got another unemployment check for $380. Day shift to Planet, made 100. Day off. Okay, went on a boat ride. I bought Sylvester Stallone's suit, a Perry Ellis suit, $600 suit. I actually got it free. Sorry. I bought a $500 gold watch. Blah blah blah. A bunch of rap groups. You don't know any of them. Made $180. That was good. Dennis Rodman came in. He's filming a Reebok commercial. Took a poop and did not wash his hands. Or tip me. On June 23rd, I went to a private, I don't know what that is. I went to a private gay club and had a menage a trois with 2 Puerto Ricans. What is that doing in here? Made 145, made 75. A lot of these have just made 145, made 175. I didn't always write down when something happened, but a lot of times I'd write it down for whatever reason. First day I met Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. and I, of all the celebrities over there, was probably the closest because he called me Bobby, and I would always say I would call him Downey because he said, people would say, why do you call him Downey? I say, because we're both Roberts and we're both very good looking, and I don't want people to get confused. He loved that. Last time I saw Robert Downey Jr., he was laying in the street in the damn gutter right on this corner over here, and I just left him there. I don't know. I'm never going to forget myself about that. The next day or so, he was arrested and for all his... This is when he was at the very bottom of his cocaine use. Also met Joey from New Kids on the Block. Willie Randolph? That was nice. Tom Jones came in, sang to me, and signed a dollar bill. I still have the dollar bill. That was July 3rd. July 4th, went to World Trade Center with friends. July 5th, made $100. Day off, made $50. Day off. Worked out. Went to the gym and worked out on the 8th. On the 9th, I'm sore. On the 10th, I can't move my arms. On the 11th, this sucks. Also on the 11th, went to work, met Demi Moore for the first time. On the 12th, day shift, made $60. Hung out with Bruce Willis, Demi Moore, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Meryl Streep, and Goldie Hawn. Goldie was the sweetest ever. July 13th, Brooke Shields. I always thought she was going to be my lady. That happens a lot with me. We meet eyes across the table, and it's boom, on. She was never my lady, unfortunately. Met Senator Bob Kerrey. My mom would have hated that. Zelma Davis. Also Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis. Gelman, if you like Regis. Gelman was the kid from there. Ed Lover. Tommy Page. Tommy Page was a tragic tale. He was a young singer, like New Kids on the Block. And he had one big hit, and then he killed himself. He came in my bathroom. He washed his hands. I go, are you Tommy Page? And he looked at me, shocked. Hey, buddy, how are you? It's good to see you. He looked at me shocked. Like, how the hell do you know I'm Tommy Page? And I got to talking to him. He was the nicest guy in the whole world. He said, my fan base is 16-year-old girls. I said, that's me. I'm like a 16-year-old girl deep down inside. Was invited by Melvin Van Peebles. The great director Melvin Van Peebles invited me to his personal screening of the movie Posse. Hung out with Richard Lewis all day. Richard Lewis! God bless Richard Lewis, who was a great person, a good friend. Also, had a meeting tonight with Larry King. Something to do with TV. I don't remember what it was. I can barely remember that. Any of this that's not in here, I wouldn't remember most of these. I don't remember where I meet this person or that person most of the time. I was a young kid from a small town, and I get thrust into this thing where I'm rubbing elbows. They all thought I was a big shot because I owned my business, and I'd be in there with a suit, and they would say, who's that guy? They thought I owned Planet Hollywood, and Bruce Willis would think I was this, and that one would think I'm that. Nothing. This is one of the few days where there's no celebrity activity. Just day off, day off. I worked a lot. Meeting, made 100, made 100, made 100, made 75. This was one of the worst nights of my life. It was a baseball players Hall of Fame night, and baseball players, you're going to recognize Mickey Mantle, or you're going to recognize Reggie Jackson, or a guy came in to wash his hands, and I looked at him, and I could see he had a World Series ring on, and I knew it was baseball night, and I go, "You a baseball player?" And mostly they would say, "Yeah, I'm so-and-so." This guy says, "Yeah, you know who I am? I'm so familiar, but if you were an A's player, I'm a big A's fan, I would know for sure." And he shows me the ring. It's the Oakland A's World Series ring. And he goes, he wouldn't leave. I was in there 25 minutes. Come on, man. Come on. Guess who I am? You think you like the A's? Who am I? I'm sitting there saying, my God, what a piece of crap. Get out of my bathroom. Then Frank Viola, I said to the guy, I go, I really don't recognize baseball players when they don't have their uniform. And right then Frank Viola walked in. I go, "That's Frank Viola." Now the guy gets pissed. "You recognize Frank, but you don't recognize me?" 45 minutes. Finally, Frank is in the mirror going to me. Look at that, because I can't read this. I go, "You Matt Young?" And the guy was so happy. Yeah, Matt Young. 45 minutes of some creep trying to tell me who he is. I didn't care. Get out. I didn't care. And I made $140. Baseball players tip very well. Michael Anthony Hall. You guys know him from Weird Science and other movies like that. Okay, here's a big one. 8/17. Met Mickey Mantle. I went into Mickey Mantle's restaurant like 9:30 in the morning because I had a friend from California come into town. We walk inside. My friend from here, Shelby, my girlfriend at the time, and this guy, Philip, from back home, came, and we're walking about by Central Park. It's 9:30 in the morning. We walk into Mickey Mantle's. It's open, but it's not, the doors are open, but it's not open to the public. And the hostess says, remember, I'm very handsome at the time. The hostess says, "Oh, we're not open for another half hour. You can come back then." I go, "Do me a favor." Just a corny, horrible joke. I said, "Can you tell Mickey that Bob was here? He'll be really disappointed if he misses me." Mickey Mantle, the biggest baseball player of all time. And the lady is insane or something. She goes, "Oh, sir, I didn't realize. Just a moment, he's writing back." I go, "Excuse me?" She goes, "He's writing back." 9:30 in the morning. I go, "Can I go back there?" She goes, "Yeah, go, take your friend." So me, Shelby, and Philip Baker walk into the back of Mickey Mantle's. It's not even open. He's sitting at a table with a damn bottle of scotch or bourbon and sitting there drinking. He's got a whole stack of Mickey Mantle beautiful postcards. He just looks up. He goes, "Name?" What the? There are people that would cut their ball off to be where I'm at right now. And I stumbled on this by accident. I go, "Bob?" He goes, "To Bob, best wishes." He always signed best wishes Mickey Mantle with a blue Sharpie. And I go, "Oh, can I get one for my dad, please?" With name? I go, "Mel." To Mel. But he did it for all of us. It was one of the greatest joys. I'm not a New Yorker. But I can tell you, there are grown men, like I feel about Muhammad Ali, there are grown men who feel that way about Mick. And they would have cut their ball off to be there. It was just crazy. Met Grandpa Munster from the Munsters. Grandpa had his own restaurant downtown, and I brought him a gift, and we actually became quite friendly. I met the kid from Terminator 2. That was Eddie Furlong. Became a crack addict kind of kid. I don't know if he's still alive. I hope he is. But he was a great actor. Fantastic. Met the X-Clan. Made $100. Made $80. Met Pele. This is the first time I met Pele. I met Pele along with Peter Gabriel. What the hell are they doing together? I met the wrestlers. Big Boss Man. I don't care about that. Day off. Made 100. Made 100. Pete Sampras. I couldn't get the guy off my table. I think what it is I'm very likable. People come in and they think I'm some big shot and I'm likable. They don't want to leave. They don't know who I am. They probably thought I was John Goodman. They don't know who I am, but they want to invest time. This has happened through my whole career, over and over and over again. Got Bill Murray sitting at my table. I go, "What the hell is he doing sitting by me? I'm nothing." Met Grandpa Munster, Monica Seles, Gregory Hines. Now, it didn't slow down with the celebrities. It just slowed down with me writing it down. I didn't care anymore. I really didn't care. It's one thing when you first meet someone, and then when you're in the business for 8 or 9 months, you don't give a shit. Bill Clinton came in. He's not in this book, but this is 92. So I got 93 and 94 over here. They get really juicy. I met the tap dance kid. I don't know who that is, but Gregory Hines, who also I befriended before he passed, obviously, was wonderful, wonderful to me. I hope this is not getting too boring. I'm already at 9. I only got to go 2 more months. Bobby Ches, Rebel and White Boy, Def Duo, John Norris, CNC Music Factory, Marky Mark. I actually have video of me meeting Marky Mark inside Planet Hollywood. He was a big Planet Hollywood guy, and I loved it. Remember, Planet Hollywood was new, so when people thought I was a big shot there, I wasn't. I was a big shot down the block at Motown, but I owned the bathrooms at Planet Hollywood and the coat check at coat check and bathroom at Motown down the street. So I was like this big superstar. Met Sergeant Slaughter. This was a big one right here. On 9/25, in walks my comedy legend, genius, hero all my life, Buddy Hackett. Many of you might not know who Buddy Hackett is, but Buddy Hackett was hilarious. One of the funniest men who ever lived. And I went to shake his hand, and he went like this. I got arthritis, kid. I got arthritis. He gave me a pound. Buddy Hackett. Only met him the one time, but absolutely big thrill for me. Alright, 9/28 was the Planet Hollywood 1-year party. 9:30, hung out with Tom Selleck, shot pool all night with Tom Selleck, and Kelly LeBrock. Man, she was fine. The next day, I met Maria Shriver, Arnold's wife. The next night, on 10/2, what a thrill it was when I got to hang out, not just hang out, but talk, and enjoy and talk and hang out with the incredible Jackie Mason. What am I, chopped liver over here? Jackie Mason, one of the all-time greatest of all time. Of course, Howard Stern. I was invited to Stuttering John's birthday party with Howard Stern, Gary, and a bunch of the morons. Wrote skits for Saturday Night Live on 10/5. John Lovitz, Kevin Nealon, both stole ideas from me, both didn't pay me. By the way, I have some amazing skits now that I'd like to get back over there, but it's been so many years. This was a good one. 6 Degrees of Separation was the story of Sidney Poitier. This kid, black kid here in New York. He wasn't Sidney Poitier's son, but he said he was. So he was invited to all the lavish parties. He would stay at their houses. People would line up to give him money because he's Sidney Poitier's son. He wasn't. He said he was. And Will Smith's first big movie was 6 Degrees of Separation, starring Will Smith. Well, the guy that the movie was made after, the real scammer, his name was David Hamilton. And David Hamilton came walking in my bathroom. And I gave him some soap. I go, excuse me. He looked at me crazy. Are you the guy from 6 Degrees of Separation? He looked at me, his jaw hit the floor. He went, how the hell would you know that? I go, well, I know everybody. And I know the movie well. I read the book. And I know you. I didn't know his name. I knew it was David something. He goes, oh my God, they made a huge blockbuster hit. And he was in all the scandal. There wasn't no internet back then. So he was shocked that I knew who he was. David Hamilton came in on 10/8. That same night, I got to meet my idol, Cab Calloway. Fantastic. Heidi, 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 ho. Heidi, 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 ho. 10/10, Michael Jackson. That wasn't in Times Square. That was when he was over here recording down the block from my house. 10/12, made $100. 10/13, met Bill Murray. Bill Murray gave me a $10 bill, and that struck up our friendship. Me and Bill have probably hung 10 times since then, but I have 3 really good story times with Bill Murray that I will be sharing. Also was with Joe Pesci, very funny guy, made $80. Met Howard Cross. I have a wonderful story time with him about the time that I helped him propose to his girlfriend, who was a hostess at Planet Hollywood, when he put the ring inside a 1-stem rose with the plastic around it. One rose, put the ring in, and had me hold the ring while he got on his knees, and I gave her the rose, and she did this. Oh my God! And she shook the rose, and the ring flew off for about 45 minutes. We couldn't find the ring. Met Winona Judd. Winona Judd made $140. Day off, day off, day off. This was one of my favorites of all time. And I may clown him on the internet, but I'll never say a bad word about him. On 10/22, absolutely, I met kindness, compassion, and just a good person. Corey Feldman. Corey Feldman came in my damn bathroom, brother. Corey Feldman was the nicest kid ever. You knew him from big-ass movies, License to Drive, The Goonies, Stand By Me. He was brilliant. He's still out there doing it to this day, and I guarantee you, he still remembers me because we became friendly after that. I always liked him because he's a good person. Also, Danny Bonaducci from the Partridge Family. One of the nicest. Look, you meet celebrities all the time. They're just like me and you. Everywhere they go, someone's saying, "Hi, how are you? Can I get a picture?" Back then, we didn't really do selfies until Paris Hilton invented the selfie many years later. We weren't really doing selfies. Blair Thomas, Howard Cross, Eric Washington, Jets. I don't know any of those guys. I just know Howard Cross. 10/27, broke my ankle. I lived on the top floor, 62 steps of the 5th floor. I walked, I got to the bottom floor wearing some brand new Nikes. I cracked and broke my ankle, and I was taking a package because I promised a friend I would mail him this package, and the post office closes at 5. I have this thing about me, when I make a promise, I keep the promise. Post office closes at 5. I gave the guy my word. I will mail it out. I walked all the way to the bottom of the step of my hallway, rolled my ankle, broke it, crawled on like an army man up 62 flights, vomiting because I was in such pain. Got to the top floor, took my shoe off. I had the brand new like Jordan, and then put on some like slippers, and I made it to that post office by 5 o'clock because I don't break my word. You listen, everybody breaks their word. I don't. And I have a record of it. And I will be so bummed out when at some point in my life I can no longer say I've never broken my word anymore. My word is bond, bro. This was a big night, 10:30. Hung out and talked with and picked his brain, and he was very kind to me. Kirk Douglas. Just absolutely nice. And then newscaster Ernie Anastas was a big newscaster in New York. Met Tom Poston. He was the guy that was on the Bob Newhart show. Most of you won't even know who the hell that is. Met Sylvester Stallone. He introduced me. I met him many times. I worked for him. He introduced me to his wife. I think she was his fiance at the time. Maybe they were married. I don't think so. Jennifer Flavin. Man, she was fine. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Had a birthday. Had a great birthday in New York. I don't know what I did, but had a huge screening. Naomi Campbell, Diane Sawyer, and the whole cast of Saturday Night Live. 11/11. Jessica Tandy told me I was strikingly handsome. Jessica Tandy. Academy Award winner Jessica Tandy. God bless her. Been gone many, many years. Made $85. 11/13. I took the night off so I could watch my friend Evander Holyfield fight Riddick Bowe. I predict Holyfield by KO in the 11th round. And then it says underneath it, I was wrong. Holyfield lost in 12. We're in November. Then I went to Cali to open up California. I was a big shot at Planet Hollywood, so I They were opening up a new one in California. It says here, 11, leave for Cali. 11:16, I think, leave for Cali. 11:17, I hate it. 11:18, I still hate it. I left, I'm from Cali, but I didn't go home to Cali. I went to Southern Cali. Had to drive an hour and a half to get to work because I was determined to blow up my business, and it took a lot for me to leave. I left my fiance here. I left my home. I got on a plane and flew. I said, bye, babe, and flew to Northern California, picked up one of my cars, drove down to Southern California, and moved there so that I could open up the brand new Planet Hollywood in Costa Mesa. Let's see. I did meet Marlee Matlin when I got there, and stupid me. Marlee Matlin is an Academy Award winning actress. She's gorgeous. She's also deaf. So she does everything like this. She can read lips, but she can't hear you. And I'm so stupid, I went up to her like probably anybody who knows who she is and knows she can't hear. I'm like, hello, you guys, crazy, you hot. Woo, because I'm a moron. I didn't understand you could just treat her as normal instead of going up like a moron. Hello, how are you? Me, hungry. Me, moron. She was very sweet. Went to my first Raider game, Thanksgiving, got 2 new clubs. I don't have anything written in all of December, and that's because I was in California. Went to Arnold Schwarzenegger's birthday event. Anyways, that was the year of 1992. Now, for 1992, we'll do this another time, but you'll see, this was a big planner, so there's big ass things. This was smaller, so there's a whole lot more going on. Let's see if I can even, I'll pull up a name and then we'll keep it moving. Little Richard, Black Sheep, Bill Bellamy, my friend. Much harder to read them here because there's so much going on. So many, so many. Dustin Hoffman. Went to Doc Rivers. Cindy Crawford. Watched the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, pretended it was good. Sinbad, Sally Jesse Raphael, Maury Povich, over 100 stars. That was a great night. Met Geraldo for the first time. Anyway, so that, and then this one, you think I'd be petered out, but this one was really, this is where, because now I'm famous. So this one is more like having dinner at their house and shit like that. Met Arnell Simpson. I don't know if, I think this must have been after the murders. Anyways, you get the idea. I hope that you enjoyed my walk down memory lane. 1 hour. No news today. Can you believe no news today? I hope that you enjoyed my no news broadcast. I am going to go over to TikTok. I invite you to come to TikTok. I'm going to be doing a story time on TikTok Live. Again, I know today wasn't the news. I bought a paper, $2. I feel like I wasted $2. And I got a hot ass soda. It's like I don't drink coffee. This is like a coffee soda. Let me show you how Donald Trump drinks the water. You ever seen him drink a water? It's the craziest thing you've ever seen in your life. Since it's 4 o'clock on the dot and I ain't got shit to do, we're doing the news. I will be back in 1 minute to start the news. If you want to come, come. If you don't, no problem. I saw one of you say you hate the news. I forgot who it was, but I'm sorry. That's what I do.